Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. It's pretty gray here in Ontario. Not the nicest morning. So I thought this would be a great time. It's still early, so I thought this would be a great time to show you all the oracle decks that I have on my shelf. And I literally thought that I had way more tarot decks than I do oracle decks, but as it turns out, I don't. I have more oracle decks than I do tarot, which was very surprising. Okay, so we're going to start with the very first deck, oracle deck that I ever bought, which was the Trust Your Vibes by Sonia Choquette. And there are 52 cards and a guidebook. This is a fun deck. I feel like this was a really good deck for a beginner, but it's also a really good deck for somebody with a lot more experience, because a lot of the themes, as you kind of get better and better at reading and at kind of delving within yourself and meditating and asking yourself really important, pertinent questions, I feel like you can really use these cards to go deeper and deeper all the time. So I feel like these are really good cards for anybody who's at any level or any stage of their learning. And they have some pretty cool artwork as well. So that's a very interesting image. This is also an interesting image with the chains and with the angel, heart representing love, time. Yeah. You get a really nice little guidebook with enough information in it. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch, because you can really read these cards intuitively as well, right? Like if you just look at the images, remember to breathe. So you use the images as well as the verbiage, and you can go as deep or as shallow as you want to with these cards. And although the guidebook is very, very helpful, this is really an intuitive deck as well. So one of my favorites. I don't use it all the time anymore. This was one of those decks that I used to use as a daily draw. Should use this more often because I do really like it. And as I say, it's really great for anybody who's at any stage of their practice. So that's number one. Number two is one that I bought not long after that, and that's the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. I used these a fair bit at the beginning. Now I don't remember the last time I did use them, sad to say. Beautiful colors go along with the chakras. This is a great book for somebody who doesn't know a lot about chakras, because you really get a good idea of what each chakra deals with. So there's a lot of good information in here. There's a little legend. I'm not sure where she got the legends from, but there's a legend. We have some keywords: personal inquiry, inspiration, some things for meditation. So this is kind of a fun deck. And then some fairly simple cards: rejection, trickery, abundance, miracle. The thing I like about these cards is they're not all happy cards. They do allow for some exploration and investigation into your shadows. So insecurity, prayer, facade, you know. So I think it's a useful deck when I don't personally like to see a deck that is mostly all happy and lovely and nice. I like to see a deck that really deals with both the good and the bad, you know, the positive and the negative. And those two decks really do. Now, this deck is a deck that I use more or less just for myself. I'm just gonna raise this up a little bit because it's a little bit close. There we go. Okay, this is a deck that I use just for myself. I do not use it for other people. This is a book that a deck that I spend a lot of time with, working on myself. And it's beautiful. The images are just gorgeous. This is a great guidebook. So there's a story that goes along with each card. There's some questions. There's some information here that goes along with the gene codes. I'm not going to get into that right now. Questions for contemplation. This is a really great deck to use for self-exploration and really digging down deep. And that's what I use this deck for. This will take me the rest of my life to get through, if I ever get through it, because I pull a card and then I spend the card that I've been sitting with now has been on my desk for about the last month and a half. And it's in my den, sitting on my desk. Every time I go in there, I look at it. I think about it. I think about the reading. I think about myself. It's a very powerful deck, honestly. So, and the artwork is gorgeous. So I really had a hard time finding this in Canada. And I ended up emailing the creator, Rosy Aronson, saying like, where can I get this deck in Canada? And I worked with her for a little while to try and find it in Canada. And then I finally found this one deck at a show in Toronto. And there was one deck sitting on the table, and I grabbed it and it just said, I'm buying this, and that was the end of that. Okay, next we have two decks by Michelle Motuzas. I'm probably butchering her name, but these are my very favorite oracle decks. I bought them together, and I remember a long time ago I was watching a video by Kelly Fitzgerald from The Truth and Story, and she was talking about these two decks, and I immediately stopped the video. I flipped over to Amazon, and I ordered them. I was that taken by them and just love them. So one I use just for myself, that's this one, and the other one I use in my practice, and that's for, with other people, and that's this one. So let's look at this one first. So the Empathic Oracle comes with a beautiful little guidebook. And I have to say, like, I love these boxes with the magnetic opening. These are probably like my favorite boxes. Who makes this? Schiffer Books. Love these little boxes, man. Okay, so here's the guidebook. It's in color, which I really like. So up here, wait a minute, she explains all of this in here. How to use these cards. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So there's a meditation at the top of each card. So that's up here. So for water, you have stream, river, ocean, clouds, rain, and then back to stream. This is the cycle of emotion in its unimpeded flow. So that is the meditation. The second part is the teaching. And so this is like the lesson where you read through. And then the third part is the divination. At the bottom of the page, you will find a divination message of meaning for the energy of each card. As with any deck of oracle cards or other forms of divination, please use your intuition and do not feel that the meaning is set in stone. So at the end, there are questions. So am I holding on to my energy? So each card has the same thing. Not the same questions, but it's laid out in the same fashion with the 3 different sections. So every day or a couple of days, I pull one of these cards, and then I do the reading, I choose one of the questions, and then I pull another card from a tarot deck or an oracle deck, and that's kind of my reading for the day. So these have lovely gold gilding on the edges. You can see how used these are getting. I use them all the time. So we have open heart, shielding, purity, chaos, chameleon. The artwork is lovely, and I'm a huge fan of this cardstock. There's the cover, the sun. Huge fan. For those of you who like your cardstock a certain way. So this is the Empathic Oracle, and this is the one that I use. I mean, you can use this with other people. You can use this for readings for other people, for clients, whatever the case may be, you know. And it's very, I mean, you can go really deep with this deck, which is something that I really like about it. Look at that chameleon, he's adorable. So this is the one that I do use personally with for other people. It's Shamanic Healing. And it's the same little box, the same lovely little guidebook with the colored pictures. This one does not have the 3 different parts for each card. But they are no less valuable. This is another deck that's starting to show its age and its level of wear. Okay, oops, sorry. Just trying to move around a little bit. So we have like new beginnings, teaching, unlimited possibilities, duality, abundance, self-love, honoring your energy. So again, like beautiful cards. I really dig this artwork. And this is another deck, like you can go as lightly or as deeply as you choose to. So another really nice deck. So Michelle, well done. Well done. So that's these 2. Okay, so next up we have the 3 decks that I own that come in bags. I've said this before, I'm not really a bag person. I much prefer a box so that they'll fit, you know, neatly and safely on the shelf. But, you know, bags are fun. This comes in like an organza bag, and I really have difficulty with the feeling of it. It's kind of, I don't know. That material doesn't do well with me. Anyway, this is the messenger cards from Sandra Kunz, I think her last name is. And she's a Canadian from, I believe it's Alberta. And these I got on Etsy. Lovely. These have mostly animals on the card, a lot of birds. A lot of butterflies, dragonflies, not all of them. All of these. Oh, there we go. Owls, bear. So yeah, they deal with a lot of animals. I'm not really a big animal spirit person. I think I've may have mentioned that at some point or another, but I do like these cards and I do like the messages. And this is another deck that you can really go as deep as you want with the cards. This is a deck, I don't usually use this deck on its own. This is a deck that I usually add in to a reading, to a tarot reading. So this is something I'll, you know, add in at the end, or sometimes I even use them for clarification. I suppose you could use one of them as maybe, you know, to represent the querent. I don't know. But it's a beautiful deck. I love that it's square too. That one's, oh, look at that one, Grace with the swan. So well done, Sandra. Lovely, lovely deck. These two, I have walkthroughs. I did a walkthrough of each of these on my channel, so I'm just going to look at these very quickly. This is the Wildwood Oracle, which is a lovely deck. This comes from England, I think, from the UK. No guidebook, but it does have 5 cards with some card definitions on them with reversals. So if you're into reversals, he does include the reversals. But I think, you know, you could read these pretty intuitively as well. Oh yeah, here we go. This is what I was saying on the video. So, or on the walkthrough that I did. There are, these have been shuffled, but there are cards that correspond to the elements, flame, and there are cards that could be used to represent the querent. And they're in there somewhere, but you get the idea. So that's the Witchwood Oracle, and they're lovely. I really like these cards. They're fun. Wish they had a box, but no such luck. And then this one, this is a fun little deck. This is Agatha's Pendulum. And this does not come with anything, so it's just the cards. This is probably my favorite card in the deck, Sugar. And these are cards, I think that I haven't used them all that much yet. I haven't had them for very long. But I think these cards are going to be really fun in a light-hearted way, because I think these are more of a light-hearted card, but I think these will be great for doing a little bit of shadow work in a light-hearted way, if that makes any sense. And the orientation of these cards changes. Some are landscape and some are portrait. So, stick people. That's a good one too. So, that's Agatha's Pendulum. Okay, so next, I'm going to shove that out of the way. Next is a deck that's very new to me, which is Roots and Wings Oracle deck. I don't even have a bag for this deck, but that's not because it wasn't an option. That's because I opted out of the bag and the box. Or did it come with a box? I don't think it came, I don't think box was an option, but I did opt out of the bag because I'm just gonna make a box for them. So Roots and Wings, the colors are glorious in this deck, and I absolutely love the artwork. I have to say, out of all the decks that I own, this deck probably has my favorite artwork. It's really stunning potential. This is another deck that you could go very, very deep with. You really could. This is a deck, I've used it on its own. and it's very easy to use on its own. And I've also used it in conjunction with a tarot deck and even with another oracle deck. I've done it both ways, or all three ways, I guess. Yeah, really beautiful, beautiful cards. And you get, what do you get? You get a card with the garden spread on it. You probably, you know, lots of people have videos on this deck. And then, of course, this is the little white book that's more of a green pullout with the keyword and some very brief explanation. But this is another deck that's very intuitive, very, very intuitive. So I'm starting to feel like this video is going to be 2 videos. This is part 1 and part 2. Okay. Moving on, next we have Queen of the Moon Oracle. And this is a deck that I bought a while ago, quite a while ago. And I used it pretty steadily for about the first maybe 2.5 months. And then as a daily draw. And then I put it away and I haven't really used it since. And I only used it for myself. So I would follow the cycles of the moon. So let's actually have a look at the deck. So on the back, you can see the cycle of the moon, and then each card. So this is waxing gibbous 5, and then the next one would be waxing gibbous 6, and then full moon. And then, so I would pull a card, as we went through the cycle of the moon. So it was never like a random pull. It was always like intentional. This is waxing gibbous 5 day, and so I would pull waxing gibbous 5 and then go to the guidebook and look up waxing, oh, look at that, and then look up waxing gibbous 5, and there I would do the reading. And as kind of a, you know, something to think about during the day. So I did that for a couple of cycles through the moon, and I think I just kind of lost interest in it and moved on to some other things. And so sadly, this deck has sat on the shelf since then. Just say I'm not like a huge fan of the artwork. And now I've just messed them all up. So they're all out of order, but that's okay. So that is Queen of the Moon Oracle. This deck has been a workhorse for me since the day I bought it. I had no intentions of buying this deck. It was sitting on the shelf. I think at Indigo was maybe where I saw it. And I picked it up and I thought, I feel like buying a treat today. And so I bought it, and it's probably been the best buy that I've made. I use this deck all the time. People have complained about the red. Red, it is what it is. It's the meaning of the card that I find more important. Some people, and aesthetic is very important to me, don't get me wrong, but it's usually the aesthetic of the front of the card, not so much the back. I do love the turquoise, however, and the actual artwork on the back. I'm not even a huge fan of this style of artwork, but for whatever reason, it really works on this deck. So whoever the artist is, and I'm not really sure who the artist is, but whoever the artist is, they did a really phenomenal job because they're beautiful, beautiful cards. Poised, Choquette. So this is another deck that isn't all, it isn't all happy and lovely. There are some themes in here where you can really stop and do some pretty deep, deep thinking. So, yeah, this is one of those decks that I always turn to. It's like the first deck that I grab, usually. Sometimes I grab it and then think, no, use something else. But I really like this deck. Speaking of, here is a deck that I think most people are familiar with. I almost feel like the Wild Unknown set is kind of a staple on people's shelves. This is not a deck that I use very often. This is in fact, I only really use this deck if I use the Wild Unknown tarot deck. I use them together, but I've never used this deck by itself. It's just one of those decks that I use it, only with the tarot deck. So they're lovely cards. But again, I'm not really big on animal spirits, but this was purchased as a gift for me. So, and somebody important in my life, so it's kind of special to me, but it only gets used when I use the other deck, the tarot deck. So I think everybody has seen this deck, or the two decks, a million times. They're very popular, very, very popular decks. So, and I did mention, I think, when I did the a video on the tarot decks that I own, that one thing I really like about these two decks, the Wild Unknown decks, is the packaging is amazing. Like, good on you. As somebody who worked in graphic arts for a number of years, the packaging is really well done. So good on you. Alrighty, last but not least, we have two decks that I have never used before. And the reason is that this is September, and I'm a teacher, and September is crazy, ridiculously busy. There's just no time to do anything in September other than try to keep your head above water. So these are two decks that I have purchased, and they are going to take a little bit of time to figure out because they each have a system. So the Shaman's Oracle, beautiful cards, beautiful book. The artwork is stellar, but there's really a system with this Oracle deck, and I haven't had the chance to figure it out yet. So there's tribes and elements, and somehow they all work together. I'm not even going to pretend like I know how they do, but I know that there are ancestors. Where's that page? There we go. So there's the elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. There's different tribes, ancestors, hunters, dancers, shamans, and spirits. And then there's caves: earth, rivers, hearth, fires, winds, and ice. And then indicators. So like I say, I haven't even started to figure this out yet. But the cards are lovely. And I love this whole idea of this cave art. Just beautiful. And I know these are reproductions. They're not, they're not the actual cave art as they would be, the reproductions, but I'm excited to delve into this and figure it out. So that's one of the two that I have yet to use. The second one is the Tao Oracle. I know this has been around for a while. I'm very, very interested in the Tao and in the I Ching. And I've started to learn about the I Ching, but this is a hefty, hefty book. Look at that. This is juicy. So I have flipped through this book. I don't really know very much about Taoism or how to use this deck, but I'm excited to use it. Of course, like everybody else, you get a deck and the first thing you do is you open it up and you flip through the cards, and I have definitely done that. So I know that you have hexagrams on it, you have the name of the card, you have some keywords. So for this one, we have the active yang principle, strength, tenacity, dynamism, inspiration, heaven, masculinity, authority, and father. I don't know what these symbols are up here. I know that's yin and yang, so I don't know what those are, but the artwork is gorgeous, receptive. Oh, yep. Difficulty in the beginning, youthful folly, waiting. Oh my goodness, you need some patience there. Conflict. Ooh, look at conflict. That is some heady conflict right there. So yeah, so this is another deck that I have yet to use. I have yet to figure it out, but I am very excited to have a go at this. So that's it. I think we have made our way through all of the decks that I currently own, the Oracle decks. There are a few walkthroughs on my channel that I hope you'll take the time to go and have a look at. I also do a weekly energy reading and they're posted on the weekends, and those are for the upcoming week or the week ahead. So I hope you will follow those. And so until next time, which will probably be next weekend, I hope you have a great week and enjoy your Sunday. So see you later. Bye.